You think when a woman reaches out to you, it's your golden opportunity? Think again. Most men make the same mistakes when a woman contacts them. And this is exactly why they end up frustrated, confused, or even losing her again. The truth is, she's not always reaching out because she's suddenly in love with you. There's something much deeper happening behind that text or call. If you want to stop falling into the trap of thinking you're in control, this video will expose the exact mistakes you're making and show you how to take the upper hand in any situation. Here's the controversial truth. Your response to her says more about you than you think. It reveals your level of self-respect, your boundaries, and even how much power you're willing to give away. Most men, desperate for attention or validation, fall right into the trap, making themselves seem weak and easily available. You don't need to chase her when she reaches out. In fact, if you respond the wrong way, you could push her away faster than you think. The key to truly making her respect you and possibly even reigniting attraction lies in how you play it when she makes that move. Don't make the mistake of jumping at her texts, calls, or DMs like most men do. Instead, you need to understand what's really going on in her mind and be smart about your actions. In the next sections, I'll break down the biggest mistakes men make when a woman contacts them and how you can avoid them to regain control over the situation. So get ready, because if you've been falling into these traps, it's time to change the game. 1. Don't drop everything for her. When a woman contacts you, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is dropping everything to respond or meet her immediately. Let's be clear, this gives off the wrong impression. It screams that your life revolves around her, and that's not attractive. Men who have their own purpose, goals, and lives going on are far more desirable. When you drop everything for her, you're signaling that you're available at her convenience, and that makes you look weak. No woman wants a man who's desperate for her attention, no matter how much she claims to like you. Think about it. When you become too available, you begin to lose your value. You want to be someone who has a busy, fulfilling life, someone who isn't constantly waiting around for her call. When you start doing that, she starts wondering why you're not living your own life or chasing your own passions. You want to be someone who's respected, not someone she can pull around at will. Here's the deal. If you constantly change your plans just to be there for her, she'll begin to take you for granted. You'll lose the sense of mystery and excitement she once had. Instead, show her that your time is valuable and that you're living a life outside of her. Don't respond right away to her texts. Don't clear your schedule to accommodate her. Let her see that you're living life on your terms, and let her come to you when she's ready. For example, imagine she texts you at 3 p.m. and you're in the middle of something important, whether it's work or spending time with friends. Instead of rushing to answer, let it wait. Answer later when it fits into your schedule. When you finally do respond, keep it cool and collected. By doing this, you're showing her that you're not desperate and you have control of your own life. She'll start respecting you more for it. By avoiding the mistake of dropping everything, you're not only protecting your self-worth, but you're also maintaining the balance of power in the relationship. When she sees that you're not at her beck and call, her attraction towards you will grow, and that's when you begin to have the upper hand. 2. Stop over-texting. Give her space. One of the biggest mistakes you can make when a woman contacts you is over-texting her. Texting constantly might seem like a way to keep the connection alive, but in reality, it does the opposite. Over-texting makes you seem needy, clingy, and desperate for attention. It's a sign that you don't have enough going on in your life, and that you're constantly trying to fill the silence with words. When you text too much, you're essentially smothering her. Think about it. When something is always available, it loses its value. The same goes for your attention. If you're always responding instantly, constantly flooding her with messages, she won't have the chance to miss you. And when she doesn't miss you, the attraction fades. You need to give her space. Space creates longing and curiosity. When you don't immediately respond to her messages, she starts to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not jumping at the opportunity to talk to her. This natural curiosity can drive her to reach out more. When you don't overtext, you show that you're not desperate for her attention, and that you have a life outside of her. For example, let's say she sends you a text, and you're in the middle of something important. Don't immediately reply. Let the message sit there for a bit. When you do respond, keep it short and sweet. There's no need to dive into long conversations over text. Be brief and leave her wanting more. By not over-texting, you're giving her space to miss you, and you're demonstrating that you're a man who has his own life. Women are naturally attracted to men who are independent and have their own priorities. Don't let your text messages become a tool for desperation. Let them be a way to keep the connection alive without smothering it. Space creates mystery. Mystery creates attraction. By giving her the room to wonder about you, you become more intriguing. Let her come to you. When she does, she'll respect you more, and your value will increase. 3. Never chase her validation. One of the biggest traps you can fall into when a woman contacts you is chasing her validation. Seeking her approval or constantly trying to prove your worth is one of the least attractive things you can do. If you've been in this situation, you know the feeling. Always wondering if you're doing enough to win her favor. Constantly second-guessing yourself and trying to be what you think she wants you to be. The problem with chasing her validation is that it puts you in a position of weakness. When you're constantly seeking her approval, you're telling her that her opinion matters more than your own. You're essentially placing your self-worth in her hands. And that's not only unhealthy, but also unattractive. Men who chase validation come off as insecure and dependent, and women can sense that a mile away. It's important to understand that your value isn't determined by whether or not she validates you. When you stop chasing her approval, you free yourself from that insecurity. You start to act based on your own principles and desires, not on what you think she might like. You become a man who is self-assured and confident, rather than a man looking for constant reassurance. When you stop chasing her validation, you become more attractive because you are no longer reliant on her to feel good about yourself. You develop your own sense of worth, which makes you stand out. Women are naturally drawn to men who have their own self-esteem and are not looking for external validation. The moment you stop seeking her approval, you stop giving her the power to control your emotions. It's a liberating feeling. You begin to focus on the things that make you happy and fulfilled. And when you do that, you'll find that women are more drawn to you, not because you're trying to prove yourself, but because you are already comfortable in your own skin. So, the next time she contacts you, don't feel the need to prove yourself or seek her validation. Stand firm in who you are and let her come to you. You'll quickly realize that when you stop chasing her validation, she starts chasing you. 4. Don't apologize for no reason. Here's a hard truth. If you're apologizing just to keep the peace or to avoid confrontation, you're doing it all wrong. Many men fall into the habit of apologizing for things they didn't even do wrong, just to avoid rocking the boat. This is a mistake that not only diminishes your value, but also makes you look weak and insecure. The reality is, constantly apologizing for no reason makes you look like you don't have a spine. It's as if you're asking for her approval and forgiveness, even when there's no need for it. When you apologize just to smooth things over, you send the message that her feelings are more important than your own. And that, my friend, is a huge red flag. Women want men who are confident enough to stand their ground. They want to see that you have self-respect and know your worth. So, stop apologizing for things that don't require an apology. If you haven't done anything wrong, don't apologize, just to make her feel better. You're not a doormat to be walked all over, and you certainly shouldn't act like one. Here's the problem. When you apologize for no reason, it signals to her that you're not confident enough to hold your own. It gives her the power to control the situation, and, over time, it can make you feel small and dependent. You might think it's harmless, but every unnecessary apology chips away at your self-respect. I get it. Men are wired to fix things, to make everything right. But there's a big difference between being accountable when you've actually messed up and apologizing when you don't need to. The key is learning when to own your actions and when to stand firm. So, let me tell you this. Stop apologizing just to keep the peace. Start taking responsibility only when it's necessary. Stop seeking validation in the form of empty apologies. Stand your ground, and you'll notice the shift in how she responds to you. Women respect men who don't apologize for simply existing. It's time to wake up and realize your worth. You're not here to constantly apologize. You're here to be a man with confidence, strength, and respect for yourself. 5. Don't reveal your desperation. This is one of the biggest mistakes a man can make when a woman contacts him. Desperation is one of the most unattractive traits you can show, and believe me, it's impossible to hide. When a woman reaches out, it's important to remain calm, composed, and never reveal just how much you want her attention. Why? Because desperation communicates weakness. It tells her that you don't value yourself enough to be selective about who you spend your time and energy on. It's a sign that you're willing to accept any crumbs she throws your way, rather than having the confidence to know that your time is valuable, and you deserve someone who sees that too. Desperation isn't just unattractive, it's a turnoff on a deep emotional level. When you respond to her messages too quickly, bombard her with texts, or seem too eager to meet up, you're essentially putting yourself on a pedestal and begging for her validation. That's not what women want. They don't want a man who chases them relentlessly, who's always available and who's ready to drop everything for them. They want a man who has his own life, his own goals, and isn't constantly looking for their approval. Here's the reality. When you come off as desperate, she sees you as someone who's always going to be there, someone who doesn't have boundaries, and that's a recipe for her to lose respect for you. Women want to feel like they have to earn your time, attention, and affection. If you're too available, she'll start to see you as predictable and easy, and she'll quickly lose interest. So, here's what you need to do. Stop responding immediately to every message. Don't make her the center of your universe, and don't act like she's the only woman in your life. Women are attracted to men who can live without them, not because they don't care, but because they value themselves enough to not chase validation. You have to let her see that you're a man with options, a man who's not afraid to walk away if things don't align. When you stop showing desperation, you'll see her response shift. She'll begin to see you as someone she has to work to keep, and that's when the real attraction happens. Women are attracted to strength, independence, and a man who knows his worth. So, stop chasing, stop revealing your desperation, and let her come to you. 6. Stop being available. 24/7. When a woman contacts you, one of the worst things you can do is make yourself available 24/7. I get it. You're excited, you're eager, but constantly being there whenever she needs you shows that you don't have a life outside of her. And that's a major turnoff. Here's the thing. Women are naturally attracted to men who have their own lives, who have goals, passions, and other things they're committed to. When you make yourself too available, it communicates to her that you have no boundaries, no other priorities, and that she's your entire focus. This is a huge mistake. Think about it. When someone knows they can get your attention whenever they want, they stop valuing it. If you always drop everything to talk to her or hang out whenever she asks, you make yourself predictable, and predictability is boring. You're not leaving her with a sense of mystery or excitement. Instead, you're simply confirming that you'll always be there, no matter what. Let's be honest, a woman wants to feel like she has to work a little bit for your attention. She wants to feel like your time is valuable, like you have other things going on in your life. When you're always available, it signals that you don't value your own time. When you're constantly waiting for her to message or call, you give off a sense of desperation. Instead, focus on building your own life, pursuing your own interests, and maintaining your independence. The more you do this, the more attractive you become. You won't just be another guy she can count on to drop everything for her. You'll be someone she has to make an effort to reach. For example, instead of always texting back immediately or rearranging your schedule to meet her at the drop of a hat, try focusing on your own work, hobbies, or social plans. When you do respond, make it thoughtful. Don't just send a quick reply because you're eager to keep her attention. Let her know that you're living your life and that you're not sitting by your phone waiting for her to reach out. The key here is balance. Be there when it matters, but don't let her think you have nothing else going on. This will not only make you more attractive, but it will also build respect and keep her interested. 7. Don't respond immediately. Every time when a woman contacts you, responding immediately every time is a huge mistake. You might think that showing her you're available right away will impress her, but it actually does the opposite. Here's why. Instant replies can make you look desperate and overly eager. Instead of building excitement or curiosity, it creates an expectation that you'll always be available, and that's something you want to avoid. The key to creating a strong connection and keeping her interested is a little mystery. When you always reply instantly, you remove that sense of anticipation. People enjoy the chase. If she knows you'll reply within seconds, she'll stop valuing your messages and your time. It can even become a routine that feels too predictable. And we all know how quickly predictability becomes boring. The reality is that when you respond immediately, you put yourself in a position of weakness. She'll sense that you're always waiting for her attention, and that's not attractive. Men who respond too quickly often seem like they have nothing else going on in their lives. They're not living with purpose or focus. Instead, they're just waiting for her to reach out. That's not the type of energy that sparks attraction. Instead, take your time. Respond thoughtfully, but don't make it a priority to get back to her immediately. You don't need to be glued to your phone or constantly thinking about her. Focus on your work, hobbies, or personal life, and let her wonder what you're up to. It makes her more curious, more interested, and ultimately, more invested in getting your attention. Imagine you're working on an important project, and your phone buzzes with a message from her. Instead of immediately dropping what you're doing, give yourself a few minutes to finish what you're focused on. When you reply, you'll come off as someone who values their time and is not desperate for attention. It also gives you a moment to think about your response carefully, instead of rushing into a reply just to seem available. A little space between replies can work wonders. She'll respect you more for not constantly jumping at her every word. When you show you have your own life and can maintain your independence, that's when she'll truly start to value you. Take the time you need. Don't be afraid to make her wait. 8. Avoid overthinking her intentions. When a woman contacts you, the last thing you should do is overthink her intentions. It's natural to want to analyze every little detail of her message, tone, or timing. But this is a trap that leads to unnecessary stress and confusion. Overthinking creates doubt and uncertainty, and you don't want that in your life. First, let's talk about the core issue. When you overthink, you put yourself in a position of insecurity. You start questioning whether she likes you, whether she's playing games, or if she's just reaching out because she's bored. This kind of mental spiral only leads to frustration. It's crucial to stop reading between the lines so much. When she contacts you, take her words at face value. Trying to interpret everything and make assumptions about what she really means will only exhaust you and cloud your judgment. Remember, not everything has a hidden agenda. People are complex, but sometimes the simplest explanation is the most accurate one. Overthinking also leads to actions that feel unnatural. You might start to second-guess how you should reply, how long to wait, or even if you should say something at all. All of this internal chatter only holds you back from being confident and clear in your communication. When you're calm and level-headed, you'll respond authentically, not from a place of fear or uncertainty. Another problem with overthinking is that it forces you to project insecurities onto her actions. Instead of thinking clearly about what's actually happening, you might assume she's leading you on, playing with your emotions, or being distant on purpose. This mindset breeds unnecessary tension and distrust, which is counterproductive to building a strong connection. It's time to step back, breathe, and accept that you can't control every aspect of her behavior. If she contacts you, respond with confidence and keep things moving forward without overanalyzing her every move. Trust that whatever happens, you will handle it with ease. By staying relaxed and grounded, you create a sense of security in yourself, and that's what makes you more attractive. So, next time she reaches out, don't jump into overthinking. Trust your instincts and keep things simple. You'll feel a lot better, and you'll actually enjoy the process more. 9. Don't let her control the conversation. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman contacts them is letting her control the conversation. You need to realize something crucial. If you constantly let her dictate the flow, you're giving up your power. The moment you allow her to take charge, you stop being the man who sets the tone. Instead, you become reactive, and that's not attractive. You see, relationships, whether romantic or not, are built on mutual respect. And part of that respect is the understanding that both parties should feel heard and valued. If you let her steer every conversation, you're letting her decide the direction of your interaction, and that makes you look weak. It's time to wake up and realize that communication is a two-way street. She should be engaged and interested in your thoughts, just as much as you are in hers. Don't fall into the trap of only responding to her leads. Many men fall into this pattern because they fear losing her or not saying the right thing. This fear makes them follow her cues rather than stand firm in their own voice. And this is where you lose respect. If you're constantly waiting for her to initiate topics or dominate the conversation, she'll start to see you as passive, someone she can mold to fit her preferences. Here's the thing. Women are attracted to men who know how to communicate confidently. Men who aren't afraid to express their own thoughts, take charge of a conversation, and share their opinions without hesitation. It shows strength, independence, and maturity. If you're always playing the role of the follower, you're not showing her the real you. You're showing her someone who's afraid to lead, afraid to take charge, and afraid to push back when the conversation isn't going in the right direction. This is where you need to step up and show some backbone. It's not about being rude or domineering, but about keeping a balanced dynamic. When you take charge of the conversation, you demonstrate leadership, confidence, and self-respect, all qualities that women find extremely attractive. So, men, stop letting her control the conversation. Start engaging more actively, and don't be afraid to lead the discussion. Trust me, you'll start seeing more respect and more interest from her. 10. Stop acting like her backup option. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman contacts them is acting like their backup option. You know what I'm talking about. You're there, always waiting in the wings, ready to respond when she calls or texts, but never getting the attention you deserve. You've got to wake up, my friend. Stop being someone's plan B. If you continue to act like her backup, she's going to see you as just another option, not a priority. And let me tell you something. Nobody, especially a woman, respects someone they can keep in their back pocket. Here's the reality. Women are smart, and they know how to test men. They know when you're available at the drop of a hat. They see you always responding immediately, always saying yes to plans, always giving up your time for them. And guess what? They start to take you for granted. If you're always there, waiting for her to make up her mind, or deciding when she wants you, you lose your value in her eyes. She'll stop seeing you as someone she should prioritize, and she'll start seeing you as someone she can call up when nothing better is going on. So, what do? You need to stop acting like you're always there for her. Give her the space to miss you, and stop putting yourself in a position where you're the backup. You're a priority, and she should see that. This doesn't mean playing games or ignoring her for no reason. It means having boundaries and having a life outside of her. When you act like you're available 24/7, you send the wrong message. You send the message that she can take you for granted, that you'll always be there no matter what, and that's a fast track to losing her respect. Instead, show her that you have your own life. Pursue your own passions. Stay busy with your own goals. You don't need to chase her, beg for her attention, or act like you're available at her whim. This creates the exact opposite effect. You become someone she can't always have, someone she starts to appreciate more, because she realizes your value when you're not always around. Women are drawn to men who have their own lives and who are not constantly waiting around for them to show interest. The more you act like a backup option, the more she'll pull away. So, stop putting yourself in that position. Take control of your own life, set boundaries, and never allow yourself to be treated as second place. You deserve more, and she'll start to realize that when you stop acting like you're just a fallback. Here's the cold truth. If you're constantly making yourself available to a woman who isn't giving you the same respect or attention, you're not winning her over. You're pushing her further away. Stop fooling yourself into thinking that being at her beck and call will make her appreciate you more. It won't. In fact, it'll only make her lose respect for you. When you stop acting like her backup and start prioritizing yourself, that's when you'll see her come back, and that's when you'll see her value you more. But let's be honest, many men still fall into this trap. Why? Because they fear losing her. They fear not being needed. But here's the kicker. When you stop fearing losing her and focus on your own worth, you'll make her realize what she's truly missing. So here's the challenge. Comment below with your experiences. Have you ever been the backup option? And what did it take to realize your own worth? I'm here to help you level up. Share your thoughts, and I'll reach out personally to connect with you. Let's build a strong community of men who know their worth and stop playing second fiddle. You deserve more, and it's time to own that.